Okay, let's start. So, first of all, we are talking about your new project. It feels like you are never tired of doing of creating bands all around the world. So you are always very
Yeah.
full of things to do. So tell us something about the genesis of this band and the material included in the album that will be released in November, if I remember properly.
Right. Well, let's see. So towards the end of 2023,
Mhm.
hey, let me turn off those notifications. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm on my I'm
Oh,
on my
fine.
phone. So yeah.
Perfect. Fine.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. Towards the end of 2023, I was thinking, oh wow, I was looking out at 2024, and it was pretty much of a blank slate.
Okay.
And I knew, of course, I knew Mike was going to be busy with Dream Theater, and I was working on a solo album, a singer songwriter album, and I thought, well, I probably want to do some dates for that, which I did. Um, but I was thinking about, well, what else? I mean, it's a whole year, so um, I was talking about it with my wife, and she suggested, and I mentioned I had this deal for a solo album with Inside Out. That
Mhm.
was a possibility. Like they had an option. There was an option for another solo album for me, but I just done doing Joseph Part One and Part Two kind of by myself.
Mhm.
I mean, I had quite a bit of help recording it, but as far as writing and arranging it, I was on my own, and I was kind of like, I don't think I want to just. I'm just not feeling like making a whole big project all by myself again. I just done that twice, and which was great, but
Mhm.
sometimes you just want a change of scene.
Sure.
So she suggested, well, what about if you get some help and maybe even do some writing sessions with some of these young guys that live locally that are very good? And I thought, well, that's possible. I'll pray about that. I'll think about that. And so I did, and obviously I felt like I should try it. And then we got together in January just to kind of try things. I thought that was really fun. I found that clip. I found the recording session, the videotape of our very first little writing session getting together, and I put that at the beginning of the All the Rage video. I don't know if you saw that,
Mhm.
but because I wanted to give people some perspective of like, hey, we were just getting together to try something, and look what it became. I mean, I think it's a phenomenal record myself.
Okay. So, as far as composition and performance are concerned, who did what in this album?
Well, let's see. So we wrote quite a bit of it together in the room. Um, Philip, the drummer, didn't really get involved in the writing. He was just there to kind of help us to realize the vision. But Chris Riley and Andre and I really were kicking around a lot of ideas um, early on. And so I guess if I have to give you like percentages, um, I don't know. I wrote most of the lyrics, and we wrote maybe, I don't know, the music was maybe half me and then half the other guys or
Okay.
something like that. We it's hard to figure that out because one thing that happened was as like we got together, I think twice in January or something like that, and
Mhm.
then I went to Colorado to see my daughter, and or we went to Colorado to see our daughter, and because the project was happening with the people that it was happening with, it stirred in my mind about what would be good for us to do together. So even though I wrote quite a bit of stuff by myself, it was with the band with the group in mind. changes what you write.
Yes. And what about the production, the mixing and mastering phase? Is all by yourself? Was done by yourself, by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? Was involved?
It was 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Okay.
And so yeah, Rich mixed it, did an amazing job.
It sounds really
And
rich. That's the reason why I asked.
yeah, he has a sound to what he does that I just love.
Absolutely.
And
he is a very
and
underrated. He's very underrated as a sound engineer.
Yeah. But anyway, so he sent me mixes, and I sent him notes, and
Sure.
so we probably had, on some of the pieces, we had 6, 7, 8 revisions. Mix 6, mix number 7. You know, there was just lots of little details I was trying to bring out. But I'm very, very happy with the mixes. Very happy with the record.
And tell me about the name of the band. Why the Resonance? Which sounds amazing from my point of view.
Oh, good. Well, I think Andre, the guitar player, I think he said, I had said something like, I think this should be called like Neal Morse and the something, and the revelation and the something. And I think he put it in AI. And I think the word resonance was something like, there was a whole list of possible words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he prompted it like sound and spiritual revelation or something like that, you know, with that kind of context or meaning. And so, yeah, I think I'll have to check with him on that, but I think resonance was AI generated.
Good to know. I was impressed by the name because I repeat, I liked it very much. And
yeah, I liked it too. We all did. It was very easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes band names are very hard. Like you can't get agreement. You know, no, well, one got this one guy liked that one. But this was really easy. Everybody was just like, yeah, sure, resonance, okay.
Especially
Boom.
when you have tens of bands as you do, so it becomes complicated. Right. Sorry, yeah. I'm joking, of course. And
yeah.
So, I would like to ask you a feedback on the current progressive rock scene, according to you, because you are involved also in teaching what you've learned in the last 40 years. I know that you recently organized a masterclass where you taught people how to produce a progressive rock album. So you have lived by yourself the past, the present, and probably the future of progressive rock. So what is your idea, or what is going to happen? What are the bands that you think are very interesting to follow? What's your opinion about this?
Oh, well, there's a lot of younger guys that I really like. You know, I really liked Chris Riley's stuff. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him in. I'd heard a lot of his demos. He's been to the Radiant School a bunch of times and become a friend. He plays bass at our church, and really good friends. But I also I admire him as an artist as well. There's a guy named Joey Frivolo. I put one of his albums on Waterfall because I thought it was so interesting. I like Emerald City Council, which is also on Waterfall. It's Brent Bristow and Jake Livgren. Yeah, those are like 3 things. I like Cheetos Magazine very much, which is a group from Spain. Okay. Esteban has also come to the Radiant School. I'm not just okay. mentioning people that have been to the Radiant School. It just so happens that that those are groups that I think are really, really cool. I had heard Cheetos Magazine before. I think we listened to it on the NMB bus on the Europe tour. Mm-hmm. and I really like them a lot.
Okay.
They remind me of sort of a Spanish Spock's beard or something. A lot of humor and fun, which is great.
Okay. Let's go back to the album. I read some feedbacks, some quotes from you, where you say that as far as the structure of the album is concerned, it reminds you of Bridge Across Forever and some older stuff from your career. Listening to the album, I heard many different influences, honestly, from Pink Floyd to the big transatlantic epics, of course, yes, and so long and so far. From your point of view, where would you put this album in the Neal Morse universe? Let's call it like this.
Well, I think it's right up there with any of the great progressive rock albums that I've done. It's not a concept album, so I guess I would put it with Spock's Beard 5 or Bridge Across Forever or something like that. NMB's Great Adventure, that it's that kind of an album, and but I think I don't know, maybe it's a little more epic. It's a little bigger. I think Johnny's voice, bringing in his high range, he has more range than just about anybody that I've been in a band with, except maybe Nick. And that brings this out of, like, I think the end of No Hill for a Climber is just so epic.
Epic.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really, really great.
Absolutely. Let's play a game. I will show you some of your albums. I did this also with Jordan Rudess a few weeks ago, and I would like to have a short comment from you about the album, the vibes that it creates to you nowadays. So let's start from a very classic one.
Oh yeah, Simpty. Yeah. Risk. I felt very much at risk when we were
Really?
making that album. Yeah, we didn't know each other. We all met in the lobby of that studio in New York. The only person that I knew was Royna.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were making that album, Royna was very quiet. And Mike was like a freight train, and it was hard to know how to be in it.
Okay.
And I had a lot to learn. I'm sure I still have a lot to learn, but I really had a lot to learn then. And so yeah, it was risky. But man, it came out great. I didn't really realize how great a lot of that music is until playing it live 10 years later. You go like, wow, this is some very good stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's go on. Let's move on. What about this?
Oh wow. Also very, very unknown territory. The first Flying Colors album, bringing in Casey, a bunch of people that have never worked together before, with a producer that we didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of really cool stuff comes from just stepping completely into the unknown.
Okay.
And yeah, I really love that one too. I think it was mixed by Michael Brower, the very famous mixing guy who has mixed U2 and lots of really very famous records. And I don't think he really understood how the keyboards were supposed to belong in there.
Yes.
So he didn't use a lot of my keyboard tracks, but it doesn't matter. The sound he got on Casey's voice and Steve's guitar, it's just it's a great record with great songs.
Yes, I agree. Especially, I didn't know about the sound engineer, but yes, it sounds different from other albums you worked on. So I didn't know about the sound engineer. This is
Yeah.
probably my favorite of your solo albums. So,
Oh,
uh, can you tell me more about this?
well, let's see. Sola Scriptura. That started with a friend of mine coming to my house saying, "Hey, you should make a concept album based on Martin Luther, and you should start right in the middle of the battle, like Empire Strikes Back." And at first, I thought, "Yeah, you're crazy," but after a while, I began to feel like I should do it, and so it was difficult. What I remember about Sola Scriptura is that it was very slow writing. I remember coming to places, particularly in the second piece, where some days I would only write a few measures for the whole day. I would just sit in the studio. It was a challenge to find where to go with it. But yeah, I think with Mike and Randy's help, it turned into a great record.
Yes, how did you involve Paul Gilbert? Because I remember there are also some solos by Paul Gilbert on that album.
Oh yeah, it was file sharing.
Okay,
I asked him if he would play on it, and I sent him the sections, and he sent back those solos that
amazing
are just,
solos. Yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
I remember.
really great.
Um, then there is one track in particular that I would like to ask you about from this album, which is the a sort of greatest hits of Spock's Beard, where there is "Falling for Forever," a new epic that was written exclusively for this album. Can you tell me
Yes.
something about that track that I really appreciate also nowadays?
Oh, the thing I remember about it is that the one of the main themes, and I haven't listened to that in a long time. I should listen to it again. I just remember that I had heard Finlandia by Sibelius, the classical composer. I had heard it. I don't know that I had ever actually heard it before, and I heard it 3 times in 2 months. It was really interesting. I took my granddaughter to a park where the Nashville Symphony was playing like a little summer concert, and they played it. And then I think I had a gig in Finland, and this guy came in with an organ at the Sunday service. There was a church service at the end, and the guy played Finlandia. And
Okay,
so I just remember being influenced by Finlandia on that piece. Yeah.
good to know because part of this collection is classical, and I have to go back to Sibelius and
Yeah. Yeah.
investigate
Check.
if, because
That's a
I like him very much. So I have to investigate this. I
Well,
didn't know.
I think that's his premier piece is Finlandia. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Um, let's go on with talking about the future because I'm interested in the future of progressive rock. You worked with lots of musicians and artists all around the world. Is there still someone you would like to work with?
Oh man. Well, lots of people actually. Um, I'm currently making an album with Chester Thompson, which is cool.
Wow,
Yeah, Chester Thompson and 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Byron House, and that's I've been working on that all morning actually. That will be coming next year sometime. But yeah, oh, I'd love to work with so many people. I'd love to work with Peter Gabriel. I'd love to work with uh, some of the really interesting younger artists. Like I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, if I could, The guys in Dirty Loops, or
Wow.
I'm a big John
There's
Mayer
a concert
fan,
here in Italy next month. I will be there. So
Oh yeah, those
Dirty
guys
Loops.
are
They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
yeah.
Okay. Other musicians, other artists.
Oh yeah, sure. I could go on. I'd love to. I'd love to make an album with Steve Hackett sometime. That would be something I would find. I would love to do. Yeah. Well,
It's a hard question. I understand. It's quite a hard question.
yeah. You start thinking about who. Yeah, there's a lot of great people out there.
And let's talk about concerts. What are your future plans, live speaking, let's say?
Yeah, right now I don't have any. I have the 3 Morse Fests. I have Morse Fest US, doing, of course, both the Joseph albums and also Jesus Christ the Exorcist. That's in America, and then in the Netherlands, and also in London. So that's quite a big undertaking, and I'm in charge of the whole thing, and the strings and horns and choir and percussion, and so that's a lot. So after that, I don't know. I don't have any plans to play any gigs, not at this time. We'll see what happens.
Okay, there is time, just to know. So there are no possibilities in the nearby future to see Neal Morse and the Resonance live. That's what you're telling me.
Not right now. No,
Okay.
no. Well, we're gonna talk about it, pray about it. We'll see.
Okay. So Neil, for me, that's fine. If you want to leave a message for our listeners and our readers on our web theme, feel free to do it.
All right. Well, thank you, all the fans in Italy, and yeah, I have my own streaming app called Waterfall, and you can listen to everything. Transatlantic, Colors, Spock's Beard, Neal Morse Band, all my solo stuff, everything I've ever done, practically, on Waterfall. It's called waterfallstreaming.com is where you sign up for it. And then you download it from the App Store, and you can listen to my stuff at the beach, on the mountaintop, wherever possible. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much, Neil. Enjoy.
All right, man.
Enjoy. See you soon.
All right, see you soon, man.
I hope within the next 5 years.
All right. Take care now.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.